I love the idea of engineers and designers being told, hey, don't worry so much about outright performance, don't worry so much about beating all the other supercars, just have fun with it. Just go out and build a car that you would want to drive. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got a fun one. This weekend I've been spending time with the 2023 Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. This is the final send-off model for the Lamborghini Huracan, and the Huracan's been with us here for a while, sort of a model successor to the Gallardo, a car that really, I don't want to say made Lamborghini mainstream, but made Lamborghini more accessible, and by that extension ended up making them a lot more money. You will have to apologize with me, we're getting some Santa Ana winds today, so it is a little bit windy, but no problem here for this special edition Lamborghini Huracan. So what makes the Sterrato special? Well, you can probably tell right off the bat here that it doesn't look like your standard supercar. And that's because Lamborghini actually allowed their designers and engineers to have some fun with this one. And that's going to be the crux of this review here. We're not going to go through and just spend the whole time going, wow, this thing is awesome, and then spit some facts and figures at you and essentially tell you nothing surprising that a $375,000 Lamborghini is fun. But what I'm going to talk about is the shift that this car represents from spec chasing to real world enjoyment. Starting up here in the front, because this is the off-road version of this coupe, which is such a silly thing to say, but it's lifted up 44 millimeters compared to your standard Huracan, and it's got more approach angle, more departure angle. And while, yes, that technically means it's more capable off-road, what it actually translates to is it's more capable here in the real world. Even this parking lot that I pulled into here to shoot this review has a big, steep front entrance getting into it, and I was able to get in no problem with this. I think it's like 6.5 inches of ground clearance roughly on this one, so it's actually a usable amount of front lip right there. Getting into my condo complex, I was able to go over the speed bumps no problem, able to get up off the street no problem. Take a look at these tires though. These are an all-time first. These are all-terrain tires specifically designed for a supercar. So Bridgestone made these duelers. They're run flats on 19-inch wheels, 235s in the front, 285s in the rear, and they're all-terrain tires. You can totally take these off-road. You can take them in snow, rain, whatever, and they're designed to still be usable here on the street. And it creates a unique driving experience for a supercar. We're going to talk about that when we go out and carve some corners, but it's fun. It's really cool. And again, adding to that real world usability. And then we see this mixture of the matte paint, which is made to be a decent bit protective for rocks and chips coming up, and believe it or not, some plastic cladding for your Lamborghini, something that a lot of people thought they would never see. You might think this Lamborghini looks a little different than your standard Huracan in more ways than just the big lights up front and the plastic cladding and the roof rails, but also there's no side haunches. So this being a mid-engined car, you've got the engine right here, and typically you'd be making 630 horsepower out of this V10, sucking air in from both sides, but because they didn't want to be pulling in rocks and off-road debris and beating up the radiators on the side, they plugged it up on the side and put in a roof scoop on the top for air. So we're dropped down, I want to say it's about 610, 608 horsepower or so. So we lose some horsepower, but torque stays the same, low 400s, and this thing is still a whole lot of fun. Still got the all-wheel drive, mechanical, limited slip diff in the rear. Let's check it out inside. This is fun. 33.4 PSI specifically. No more, no less for your cold tire pressure here. Because this is a little bit more of not only a special edition send-off model of the Huracan, but also one that really can be used daily, it's a nice place to be inside here. Lamborghini didn't skimp out. It's not like the Technica or the STO that run in plastics and carbon fiber and feels very Spartan inside. This is a nice place to be. Fully loaded up Alcantara as you see it here, and decent infotainment system. We have a 10 speaker upgraded Sensonym Lamborghini sound system. I did a separate review on that. You can check the link below to see it. It's not fantastic, but it makes the sound system livable. These seats, while still being a bit firm and contouring, are, again, made to be daily driver comfortable. And this is the supercar you could daily drive. In fact, one of the YouTubers I follow, Salamandra, he just recently bought himself one. Also, I think currently temporarily residing here in Orange County, and this was his kind of daily driver supercar. And it's cool to see that there's this shift that we're seeing from a lot of automakers to realize that people care less about all of these spec sheet numbers and track times and Nürburgring numbers. People want a car that is fun to use in the real world, and pairing something like this V10 that has so much character and all of this engineering that goes into this car with a package that's actually usable in more settings than just perfect canyon roads or a racetrack, that's what people want. That's what makes a car exciting here in 2023. Of course, that helps it be exciting too. But let's go back into Strada, actually, and do a little daily driving, shall we? Parking brake releases. The steering is remarkably light, made ever more so by those all-terrain tires up front. Not super wide, and also not super grippy on the tarmac, so it makes it so steering very easy to do. Again, coming out of here, no scrapage. And interestingly, this 7-speed transmission upshifts very, very quickly in automatic mode. Cruising 30 miles per hour, we're already in 5th gear. I think it hits 7th once you're up about 35 miles per hour. From a daily driving standpoint, however, it is surprising that they didn't give us some sort of camera rear view mirror, because there is 0% rear visibility in this car. This mirror is essentially just there to check a legal checkbox. It has no function. If you're getting a Sterrato, I hope you have experience with driving box trucks, because you are relying solely on your outside mirrors, and that is exaggerated by the fact that you sit pretty high in here and visibility is limited. So you got to be constantly checking yourself, and we actually don't even have blind spot monitoring, interestingly. So if you are using the Sterrato for daily driving, it is a little bit more stressful in that regard. Not only is the car more usable because of the added ride height, but retuning the adaptive dampers makes the suspension more livable for daily driving as well. We go over road imperfections or drain gates or something like that, and this thing it just absorbs the bumps in a way that you'd expect from a normal daily driver sort of car. Add on to that these are the smallest wheels Lamborghini could fit around the brakes for the Huracan, so you've actually got a decent bit of sidewall on here. I mean, what was it, 40 and 45 cross section? That's pretty good, pretty thick tire there. They did a good job with the sound deadening in here as well. You hear a decent amount of wind coming around with all the aerodynamic bits and the air intake on top and everything, but even though we're running all-terrain tires and this is a supercar, you can cruise on the highway and really not have it be too obnoxious. I am a bit surprised at the transmission tuning in sport mode, because as you can see, I just leaned off the throttle and all of a sudden it's in 7th gear. I am surprised that it doesn't hold gears a little bit more. Obviously, to remedy that, you simply press M, put yourself in manual mode, and then do the shifting on your own. And you've got such a wide gearbox that you don't have to be super vigilant about which gear you're in. It's just surprising that it doesn't have more of an aggressive driving tune to this transmission logic. Up here in some of the best canyon driving roads in the area. Highway California 39 up here toward Crystal Lake. Came up it for the winding road drive. We're gonna head back down and open this thing up a little bit. Very minimal traffic today. It's a weekday. We got some construction kind of breaking traffic up. So let's listen to some V10. Combination of that V10 and all the power, but then a little bit of the squirreliness of those all-terrain tires, it creates a performance car driving experience unlike any that I've experienced. You actually get a pretty quick rotation because that back end is not being stuck down the way it would on a standard Huracan. A little bit less downforce and obviously less, what do they call it, mechanical grip. So you get a light steering and a quick rotation, and because you do have all-wheel drive, you can still pull out of the corner pretty strong, but the whole car dances around a little bit in a way that you do not get with the STO or the Technica. It kind of just feels like everything happens at a lower speed in the Sterrato, and that's good because you do want to feel the excitement of the car and the drama. You get the drama at a more legal pace, and I like that. Lamborghini does such a good job with this transmission in that if I'm only about halfway on the throttle and I shift, it's pretty smooth. But if I'm full tilt, it'll really pull you back. Also notice the squirreliness under hard braking. The car's really fighting for traction in a way that you just do not experience when you've got real sticky P0s or whatever summer rubber will be coming on your standard Huracan. If I get on the brakes here, I mean, that's a lot of ABS. We're going downhill a little bit, but the tires are really having to do their darndest. No problem getting back up to speed though. And it's so nice being able to go through roads, and when you see little bits of rock or asphalt or something like that in the road, you don't have to freak out and do your darndest to avoid it the way you would have to in a standard supercar. You just kind of run over it. It's made for it. The beauty of a naturally aspirated engine like this is when you've got it up in the revs and you just think about pressing down on that accelerator, the power's right there, and with this lifted suspension you feel it buck back in a totally different way. No waiting for boosts, no waiting on anything, it's just go. This car wasn't even supposed to happen. It was almost a last minute, late night, spur of the moment idea that came from the Lamborghini team after over a meal after the Urus Performante came out. It was either the normal Urus or the Urus Performante. And I love the idea of engineers and designers being told, hey, don't worry so much about outright performance, don't worry so much about beating all the other supercars, just have have fun with it. Just go out and build a car that you would want to drive. So while only 1,500 units of the Sterrato are being made, sold worldwide, I like to think that this helps represent a shift in how automakers are going to see not only special editions of cars, but realistically how the consumer wants to use their vehicles. I mean, right in front of us here is a Jeep Wrangler, one of the highest resale value cars on the market. Jeep Wrangler and Toyota Tacoma. Again, two vehicles that are focused more on what you're able to do realistically at sane legal speeds and in the real world. Man, speaking of what you're able to do in the real world, those are 3 people on an electric bike. That's hilarious. And look at somebody like the Topher building his Subaru BRZ into what he kind of jokingly calls a wilderness version. He lifted it up a little bit and put some all-terrain tires on there and uses it as kind of this off-roady car, but more as just a more usable daily sort of vehicle. Having fun out here in the real world doesn't mean being able to go 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds and corner at 1.2 G. It means being able to drive something usably in the real world that has character and that has fun and is usable in as many settings comfortably as possible. So I like that Lamborghini went this direction with the Sterrato, and I don't think it'll be the last of these sort of usable off-road, real-world sort of vehicles that we see from high-end automakers like this. Again, pulling into this lot, no problem. It's usable. Not having to reach down and press a front-end lift and add weight and complexity in that regard. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I know this isn't kind of our standard sort of car or video or vehicle, but I had fun driving it, and I hope you had some fun coming along. I mean, how could you not with that glorious V10 engine? And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, passion on.